Hello, Sheldon McDonald here. Going to be making some videos for RsDosTool to kind of help people out. Um, so this video is going to be manipulating disk files and such. The next video I'll cover the RS disk editor, the raw disk editor, and then another video on the program editor. So let's start this video off. So you see you've got four buttons here: save as, load disk, new disk, and save disk. And you got the same thing on this side. These buttons are all used for this disk image, and these ones for this disk image. So let's go ahead and load a disk image in and see how it looks. So we're going to load CocoCAD. So take note, when you click on a file, it says that's the extension, it's a basic file. This one uses 11 kilobytes, but actually on the disk image it uses 13, almost 14K there. So it kind of gives you a rundown of what kind of file space is actually being wasted on your disk image. I know when you type dir on the color computer, it's very vague on what it's using. So this gives you more of an idea of how big these file sizes actually are. It also has a column that says F and G. So F means the file number, okay? G is the actual granule that it starts at. And I'm going to explain files and granule numbers in the next video when we start looking at the raw disk editor. Okay. Okay, so we click on cococad.bas. So down here it indicates how much of the disk is free. So this little space here is how much space is free on this disk image. Down here we got the file type. It says this is a basic program, and it says that it's binary. Binary basic, which means it's tokenized. If it wasn't tokenized, it would have the ASC flag selected. Also note, I can click on these and it doesn't do anything. Okay, these are just here to tell us what the file type is, so you can see that it's gone back. However, if you go to rename the file and you hit rename, if you did change these ASC flag and this file type flag, it will rewrite it. So be careful with that. So if you did in fact want to change the file name of this, if we just named it coco .bas, we can hit rename, and now it's just called coco.bas. Okay, so I'll rename that to CocoCAD. Don't worry about putting lowercase in here, it'll correct it. Okay. So that's that part. Let's talk about saving files and loading files. So I'm going to save this on to take this off the disk image so I can edit it in Notepad or something. You can hit save disk or save text. We're going to save that as CocoCAD, save. Overwrite existing file, yes, it exists, but we're going to overwrite it. So that's it here. So if you look at it, it is no longer tokenized. It is in human readable format. You can make edits to this and save it. The extension does say TXT, but it doesn't mean that you couldn't rename it to BAS or load a BAS file. You absolutely can. So once you've done your editing or whatever, let's say you want to load it back in. Let's load it into this side. Let's go add text. So you would hit add text even if it's a basic extension. Okay. We'll go to desktop, and there's your CocoCAD. Is it a basic program file? Yes. So make sure you answer those questions correctly because it helps to set these flags down here. Um, One thing I want to point out, so if you look at the size of this file, it's 11659 bytes. This one came in at 14323, and you'll notice one huge difference. This is a basic program in binary, which is tokenized. This pulled in a basic program as ASC human readable. So if you want to tokenize this file, you can just go ahead and pull it into the program editor and then just hit save. Okay? And then you'll see that it is now 11659, just like this one. And this time it's in a basic program in binary basic. Okay? So that's a way that you can tokenize it right there, so it'll have a faster load. The next thing, if you have a binary file, and it doesn't even have to have the extension bin, it just means that it keeps the file exactly as is, as it sees it. So for example, if I want to save this prt.pg0, I can say save bin. We'll go on the desktop and we'll call it blah, whatever, save. I'm not sure why that says PG0. I'm going to have to look at that. Oh, it's because the extension says that for some reason, right? So it just saved it straight up. blah.pg0. It kept the extension. I didn't call it part though. I mean, I could rename it right here. We could put PRT. Okay, so PRT.pg0. Now to get that file back on the disk, all you got to do is say add bin, which means a binary file. It doesn't mean it needs the extension bin. It just means that it's a binary file. So if we scroll down the list here, right here, open, and you can see it's pulled it in, and it's the exact same size, okay? And it's got the exact same flag set because it's a binary file. Okay, so that's how that works. We go a little further now. So that's how you save a binary file onto your hard drive and you add it back to this disk image. So these 4 buttons, that's what they do. Again, with the text, it doesn't need to be text. It can have a BAS extension. You still have to use those buttons so it knows that it's dealing with a program like that. Okay, so let's load a different disk image so we can go over some of the other features real quick. Let's load my game here that I'm working on. So now we have an ASM file and we got a binary file. Okay, so when we're looking at this, the assembly language program, if you want to edit it, you can use my program editor or you can pull it right off the disk image. So you can say save text. We'll go to desktop and we'll call this game. And we'll hit save. Remove the line numbers. Yes, you probably don't want to edit an assembly listing with line numbers, right? So say yes. And then we have a file here called game. Now you can see all my source code, okay, in the text editor, and it's removed all the line numbers, okay? To bring that back in, let's do it on this side. We just say add text, desktop, and then we can scroll down to my game that I just saved. Is this a basic program file? The answer to this one is no. Is it an ASM program file? Yes. Add the line numbers? Absolutely. If you do not add the line numbers, then some bad stuff's probably going to happen. Okay? Put the line numbers back in. So now we've got our assembly listing here. The file size, yeah, it's the same size, so that's a good sign. let's have a look at this on the program editor this time. So we'll hit program editor. You can see here it's loaded the same file in, but it's removed the line numbers. Don't worry about having to put line numbers back in. You can just hit save when you make your changes, and then it's back in there. Now we've got some buttons over here that I would like to explain. So moving files around, copying them, and using the Lost Wizards editor, or using Lost Wizards assembler. So we'll take this file for example. You can see that these commands down here are for this side. Okay. So if I click on that file and hit assemble, okay, it has some settings here. Just hit assemble, and you'll come up with another file here if it assembles properly. So you can see it's gone through Lost Wizards assembler, and now it's popped in the binary file. So this is the executable file of that program. If an error occurs, let's have a quick look and see if we can produce an error. Let's call this LDH. It'll be completely garbage. Okay, so when you go to assemble it, we hit assemble. You'll notice that the editor, the assembler will catch an error. Okay, so it's popped up, and it's going to tell me the line number that has the problem. So it says bad opcode LDH. Obviously, H is not not a command. So it says it's on line number 5. Okay, so you can just press the space key to close that. You can press 5 here and say go to error line. And the program will actually highlight that problem right there. Okay. All right, so that's how that works. Okay. Now if you're moving files over, you can move it like that. You can move it again, right? You can copy it. So now it's on both sides. Now the editing that you're doing here is not permanent until you hit save. Okay? Once you save the disk, that's when the changes really happen. Okay? So, you know, moving files around here isn't going to damage anything. Okay? If I hit save right now, that is going to damage it. So it's going to make my game disk image empty. Okay? So that would be very, very bad. I'll be reprogramming everything. Okay? So what happens when the same file exists in this one's case? It just overwrites it. So be careful. If I had a copy of that one over here and then I say to move it, it's just going to move it. Okay, it's not going to ask any questions. It's just going to overwrite it. Okay, so because of the bad changes I just did, I'm obviously not going to hit save disk here, but I will hit new disk so I'm not screwing anything up. Okay, so that's how those things work. And then we have a nice button here that says search. So let's say I'm looking for the game Downland. Okay, I'm going to start it off in a directory, and actually let's go a little more specific. It helps if I also put an SD card into my computer here. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so we'll click on that. Let's go to, I'm just going to help this out a little bit. We're going to go to the game pack. Actually, let's go to games and hit OK. And I can hit start looking. Okay, so now it's looking through disk images until it finds Downland. Okay, this isn't the fastest method, but it works. So it's found it here. So I can say set it to disk image 1 or 2. So we'll say 2, and it pulls it over here, and then it would load back up what was here originally. Okay? And that's how the search works. If you're doing a search and it's just not finding anything, you can press the search button again and it'll cancel it. Okay, so that's the first video here, and my next video will be on the raw disk. Thanks for watching.